Well, it looks as though we're streaming live onto YouTube, so I'm very happy about that. Hope you are too. Let's get rid of those titles. Let's put them up again because I like those things, don't you? Let's put those little titles up there again for you so you can see what's going on here on live stream time. Yeah, we're good. We're live. It's fine. Let's get rid of these things, these titles. Just tells you who I am, what I'm about. So let's get cracking with our live stream. Hope you're all well. I'm particularly well. Bit fed up with lockdown. I think everybody is. And I went for a walk yesterday. Everybody was walking everywhere, and the joggers were very sheepish. Did you notice? The joggers have had a bad rap last couple of days, and they were COVID everywhere. You know, they run past you. Many were running in the roads and all sorts of things. I felt quite sorry for them actually, but such is life, isn't it? At the end of the day. So, what have we got planned for you on live stream today? And I'm continuing to record afterwards, by the way, and we'll upload a few more videos for you on YouTube. If you're on our boot camp, you get all these things on HD as well, so that's fantastic news for you. So, got 3 topics for you this morning. The first one is taking a look at what happens when you take your exam at home. And what I'd then like to do is to take a look at the assets, as I call them, the leasehold changes and the collectives. So we've got a couple of great videos for you this morning as well. So I don't know, let's just put up our little sort of little. I like these, don't you? They're quite smart, aren't they? Our little name tells you who I am. This new software that we're doing, we're kind of getting it ready and getting it sorted as we speak. So let's get on then with our first topic, really, which is the exam at home. If you're taking an exam at home, then you need to get yourself prepared, because this is what it's called now. It's called home-based exams. So if you're doing your CMAPs or your CFs or your ROs or whatever it is, you need to take the exam. Now, I took an exam on Friday. Oddly enough, you're like, well, why is he taking exams? We all need to. And I first took my advanced planning exam back in the 90s. Obviously, I've kept up to date with what's been going on because I teach the topic. But I decided to take RO5, which is an exam which is financial protection. So it passes back in the 90s, but when things were slightly different. But they haven't changed an awful lot, actually, in the subject of protection. You know, with profits is still with profits. So I want to give you some tips and techniques in order to take your exam at home, because I took it at home and it went okay. So I want to give you some ideas how it works. First of all, you do need to prepare yourself. What you need to do first of all is get your laptop or whatever you're going to be using prepared and ready. If it's a PC, it's great. If you're on a laptop or a PC and you've got other screens connected, disconnect them. You're only allowed one screen on the exam at home, and they'll abolish you or ban you from taking the exam further if you decide to use more than one screen. Then what you need to do is to get some software onto your system. And the software they use is their proprietary software. It's owned by the company, American-based company, that runs the exams. And you have to download it a couple of days beforehand. The reason for that is that if you're using a work laptop, you may not have admin permissions to be able to put software on your computer. So you'll be a bit of a problem, really. There, you've got to get around that issue by maybe using a home laptop or something, or home PC. Because work PCs don't allow you to download software, do they? So make sure you get your exam software in first. Once it's on the system, test it. Test it. They've got these like exam, sort of example exams you can do. Have a look at the format, how it all pans out. So it's best to do that a couple of days beforehand. Now, on the day itself, what you want to be doing, I took my exam at 10 AM, which was my choice. So at 9 AM, I got cracking. I got myself prepared. I went on to the email that they sent me through, and I clicked on that email, and that took me to the software that I'd already downloaded, and it allowed me then to log in. So obviously I logged in using my passwords, etc., and I was able to get myself ready. I cleared all my monitors. I've got 4 monitors connected to one PC down there, so I cleared all those out, so I just had the one monitor. What I then did is got my bits and pieces together. I got my basic calculator. I've got a very cheap calculator, so make sure you get yourself a calculator together. Just a cheap one, because you can use that. I also got myself 2 sheets of paper, and on the 2 blank sheets of paper which I was going to use for my workings out, I put my name on it, and I put the username and login number in case I have to re-log in, because once your computer is going with the exam, you can't go into the computer. That's the whole point about that software. The software they put on there blocks everything else. It completely blocks everything else. You can't go on Google or anything, which is obviously the right thing to do. On the day I clicked on the link, went into the software, I then logged in and I got myself ready. Now I had to wait about 10 minutes. I'm glad I logged in really early, because what happens is the invigilator that's allocated to you then picks you up. So the invigilator, there you go, picks you up. They get you. Now, bear in mind that one invigilator is probably invigilating 8, 9, 10 exams at any given time in an hour schedule or 2 hour schedule. So he or she picks me up and contacted me via the chat box. Said, "Hi, I'm here to invigilate you. Can you please now record everything around you using your webcam?" Because what happens is the software that you have, it collars your webcam and it collars your sound. There's your sound for you. It collars you. It captures that. It controls it effectively, so it can hear everything that's going on around you, and obviously can see through your webcam. So they're watching you doing your exam. And what they want to do is you just scan the room. Now, I've got a webcam on a tripod. It's easy for me to pick up the webcam and just move it around the room. You've got 30 seconds to scan it. And they want to see your screen and your keyboard as well, and anything behind your computer. So if you haven't got a webcam that you can move around, then get a mirror or something so you can show them your laptop surface. That's really important. They then have a look at that. I had to wait another 10 minutes. I'm really glad I logged in early. Imagine if you logged in at 5 to 10, you'd be well nervous, wouldn't you? And I waited for a little while, and eventually they came back to, yeah, it's all okay. You're good to go to start your exam. And then I started the exam and off I went. Now, it was quite interesting actually, halfway through the exam. I don't know about you, but I tend to have a mannerism when I'm thinking. I tend to do that when I'm thinking. It's just habit, I suppose. I'm sort of thinking, because obviously I'm having to think about the questions, because I'm human like you. And I was doing this, because of course I have to pass, there's no choice for me. And at one point I got a little chat message, "Mr. Archer, would you please take your hand away from your mouth?" Because what they thought I was doing was talking to somebody behind me, or somebody who was under the desk or something. What's the answer to this? How many units is in this? It was quite funny to watch actually. But he said to me, "Take your hand away." So I took my hand away from my mouth. I was quite sheepish about that as well. And I finished the exam. And obviously no interruptions, you can't go anywhere, you can't go to the loo, you can't do anything. You can write on your piece of paper and you can use your calculator, and you get the tax sheet given to you on the system anyway, so everything's there for you. But as soon as you move away, they'll capture you, they'll stop you. So if you lost, for example, you went off screen like that, they'll wonder what you're doing, and they'll probably fail you unless you've got a damn good reason why you did that. But anyway, you finish off. 2 most important questions, of course, in the exam came to the end. The first most important question is, have you finished the exam? Oh my God, yes I have. And then the most important question, of course, is, are you sure? And you press the button, get your result. And I passed, obviously. Well, obviously I passed, so I'm pleased about that. And job was done. So, not a bad system. I like it. I think it's clever. I worked it out, actually, because I did an exam a couple of years back where I had to go by train into Bristol. And it took me virtually the whole day to get the train, queue up, go to the room, log in, etc. And come home and have coffees, etc. This time I did it at my home, and by sort of 11 o'clock-ish or thereabouts, I was finished having a cup of tea. So it worked really well. I think it's the future, but you do need to prepare. So don't read everything you see online. You see, what happens is people you see go on, they log on at 5 to 10 expecting it all to be produced for them. They expect it to be sort of like iPhone intuitive, but it's not. So you have to prepare yourself accordingly. Hope that's been useful. There you go. Did you like that one, did you? Yeah, it was an interesting experience. I must admit, I did enjoy the experience very much indeed. And taking the exam gives me an indication as to what's going on in your world, really, which is key to the whole thing. Okay, let's get on to another topic, shall we? Let's just show you again who I am. Let's just put all these out. I like these, don't you? There you go. Hello, it's Paul Archer on Mortgage Livestream. We're getting loads of these graphics and things like that organised and sorted. Now, what I want to talk about now, get rid of those things here. What I want to talk about now is an important topic which you probably read about at the weekend, which is affecting a lot of people, and it's leasehold changes. Now let's give this a title, and I'm going to call this Leasehold Changes because I can't really think of a better title than that, which makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Leasehold Changes. So I want to talk about what's going on here in the world of leasehold and freehold. Now, we're talking here about English and Welsh law, land law, but in Scotland they also have leasehold. They have a slightly different law up there. It's slightly better actually when it comes to owning flats and apartments. But the government announced recently that they're changing the leasehold system with effect from March 22. So, if you're doing your exams now, you don't need to worry too much about this. But as I always say to people, we teach you to become a mortgage advisor, a really good one, to a damn good mortgage advisor, not just to pass exams. Anybody can teach you to pass exams, well, not everybody. So you do need to know the changes that come in, because people will ask you. Even if you're not qualified, you'll be at a dinner party once you're allowed to have those things. And somebody will say to you, I heard about the leasehold changes. What do you know about that? You're learning to be a mortgage advisor. If you say, well, I don't know, it's not in the CMAP textbook, then you'll be a right old plonker, won't you? So you've got to be able to understand these things and give the right information. So they're changing it, March 22. And in my opinion, about time too, because leasehold is a very old-fashioned system. It goes back to the Crusades. Not a lot of people know this, when the barons, of course, owned all the land, and the barons all headed off to the Middle East to fight the baddies. And they left the land for like years, because it took a while to get over there in those days and get back, because many of them died. So they wanted to hold on to the land, and therefore created leaseholds, which meant that people owned the land for a period of time, and after that period of time the land went back to the owner, the barons. It's feudal, it's really old-fashioned. Apparently 1 in 5 homes in the UK still has it. Now thankfully, of course, freehold houses, or new ones, or leasehold houses I should say, were abolished 2019. So you can't now set up a house, a detached house, semi-detached house, as leasehold. So what are they then? Well, as we know, because we've studied this before, or you may not have studied if you don't, we're talking here about apartments, effectively. We're talking about flats and apartments. So here we have a high-rise block here for you. And these apartments or flats or whatever are owned as a leasehold. You own them for a period of time. They're not yours forever. The freehold effectively is owned by somebody. So let's put the freehold. The freehold is generally the land that's underneath the block itself. But it's actually a bit more than that. The freeholder is either a person, or they are an investment institution. Many builders now, what they do is they build these apartments, they sell the freeholds onto investment companies. And you can buy funds now that invest in freeholds of apartments. There's one in Cheltenham they're building now. And the builder there has sold the freehold to an investment company and make a bit of money from it, a bit of cash, a bit of wonga, which is what building companies do. Now you own the leasehold, which means that you own it for a number of years. So it could be, for example, 99 years. So most people's lives don't extend beyond that. Therefore, you pretty much see this as quite secure. Now, because you own the lease, it's yours to keep and live in there and do what you like to a degree. But there is a leasehold document. The lease document itself tells you what you can and can't do. And this leasehold document requires that you make payments. So you have to make some money. You have to make a maintenance charge. Maintenance, let's put that in there for you. A maintenance charge of say £100 per month, which you have to pay into a pot, and there's a maintenance committee usually that looks after that. And this maintenance charge pays for the insurance of the block, plus all the grounds being tarmacked and looked after, and the grounds being cut, and then everything being hoovered and cleaned and outside maintained, the roof fixed, so all the common parts get fixed and looked after by the maintenance charge. There's also a ground rent. This is the one that's causing the problems. The ground rent, in most situations, is a peppercorn, which comes from the Baron days. So it's a couple of quid. It's not much, £10 maybe a year. It's tiny amounts of money. But it's the ground rent, you see, that goes to the owner of the freeholder. This is why these investment companies love this deal, because the owner of all these freeholds, they receive these ground rents every month or every year, guaranteed money. Now the new homes builders were quite clever, so therefore they put these ground rents in, but they made them escalate every sort of 5 years, 10 years double. So these ground rents became quite a lot of money. And over 99 years, the ground rent itself was going to escalate out of control. Government got wind of that and stopped that straight away. That's unethical, in my opinion. Those new build companies were unethical doing this because most people didn't understand it. Perhaps I think the lawyers should have explained it, but there we go. That's another story. So that's the situation then that we've got. There are changes available. People can change this stuff. Under the Leasehold Reform Act 2002, people have the ability to improve their lot. So say, for example, somebody decides to buy this flat here at the top, which is flat 5B or whatever, and this has got a lease, say, of 70 years remaining, and they've got to pay a ground rent as well. The owner of that flat can actually do stuff to it. Now, they can extend the lease and or buy the freehold. This has always been available. Now, they can do it voluntarily, and doing a deal with the freeholder, they can do what they like. But under the law, they can demand to have that lease extended. Now, the law allows you to add another 90 years, and buy the freehold. In other words, you become the owner of the block, which gives you control, of course. You're still a leaseholder, and you still have to have this lease, so you can have another 90 years. But there was all sorts of restrictions to that, still are, of course. You know, for example, it has to be more than 2 flats, so it has to be a decent sized block. It can't be a sort of a Victorian conversion or something like that. Also, it has to be for a minimum of 21 years, so the lease had to have been set up for 21 years in the first place. That was another ruling as well. 25% of the block can't be more commercial. So, you know, if you've got a lot of commercial in here, you can't exercise your rights because it's a commercial block. 25% was the ruling of the floor space. 50% of everybody who lives there, owns the flat, has to be in agreement for the freehold to be bought. So there was lots of restrictions. And of course there was cost involved as well. You had to negotiate a cost, but there was this thing called marriage value, still is, whereby they worked out the increase in the value of your ownership by having these extensions and purchases done. And they took a slice of that as well. So the freeholder was making a mint. It was costing a fortune to buy the freehold. And that's all going to change. And here are the changes. Let's get ourselves a different colour. What the government are looking to do is a number of things really, which I think is good news all around. First of all, they're looking for you to increase it by up to 990 years. Now that's more like it, isn't it? You know, that's several people's lifetimes, isn't it? So, you know, that pretty much means you own it forever, doesn't it? So that's the first thing they're looking to do. And they're going to put a calculator, an online calculator, where you can work out exactly how much it's going to cost you. And there's not going to be any marriage value connections or anything like that. It's going to be a straightforward cost as well. There'll be other things they're going to be bringing in, but they're going to be cleaning this up nicely. Ultimately, what they need to do, though, is to get rid of leasehold all told. And that's the hard part. You see, builders and lenders, let's get rid of some of this information, builders and lenders don't like change. I mean, lenders don't like change, never have done. Traditional building societies and banks don't like change. So this system of flats and leasehold flats and freehold works really well. They like it. It kind of works. It's easy, they can repossess. The builders love it, they get this extra bit of money. So trying to get them to change to common hold, there you go, is the secret to it all. Common hold's been around for a while now, over 20 years now. Common hold is a combination of freehold and leasehold joined together. The flats are owned as common hold. There's no lease, there's no ground rent, so there's no leasehold, there's no freeholder, there's no ground rent to pay. There's nothing like that. You own this block forever. It's yours. You have to contribute towards maintaining the common parts. There's an association or a limited company that you join or become a shareholder of. You have to maintain the common parts. It's fine. Get it all insured. But you own it forever. And you think, well, actually, it's a pretty darn good deal. And it is. So the government needs to encourage that. Two people they need to convince are the builders and the lenders. Once they convince those two bodies, new blocks will be built on a common hold basis, and they jolly well should as well. You know, it's just the right thing to do. But everyone's got their little interests, haven't they? You know, a bit of money here, a bit of money there. So common hold's the way forward. Get out ground rents completely might be an answer. We'll have leasehold, but get rid of ground rents. They're the problems as well. So that's the leasehold changes that are coming down the line for you to enjoy. I hope that's been useful. Bye. Great. Okay, so live stream. Come to an end, 20 minutes. So we don't live stream for more than 20 minutes because, well, it'd be rude not to, really, wouldn't it, to go beyond 20 minutes. They talk about people's attention spans and everything, don't they? So what we do, I'll carry on doing some more videos. Might have a cup of tea first, do some more videos for you. I'll get them uploaded. We'll put a couple on YouTube probably for you to enjoy. Everybody on the boot camp, remember, gets all these videos on HD. I've got a HD camera recording over there at the same time, so they'll pick that up and we'll put it on the boot camp. Remember, boot camp comes with a structured sequence of all your lessons, loads more videos for you to enjoy in the right sequence with tests and revision guides. We have drop-ins where we had 10 people drop into a session this morning on video. We chatted how they're all getting on and stuff like that. Remember, my job, my company's role is to help you become the very best mortgage advisor you can be and the best financial advisor, whatever it is you want to do in this financial services sector. I'll keep you up to date. I'm going to be operating for the next 15-20 years, probably mostly from Tivoli Studios here, using this technology to make you the best you could be, because the industry needs people. It needs a lot more new people. Of diversity as well. We need diversity in this sector. There's far too many white middle-aged males in it, if I'm being honest with you. We need to have much more diversity to help you to become the best advisor. Enough of all that thing there. Let's put my little blocks up so you can see who I am. Ta-da! Do you like this, eh? Paul Archer live stream. Connect with me on paularcher.tv. Get on LinkedIn if you can do, paularcher.uk. Happy to talk to all of you at that point. Otherwise, I'll see you all next week. Have fun.